At the foot of Hanamkonda Hill in Telangana stands the thousand-pillar temple, a Kakatiya monument where stone, worship, and royal power meet. The Kakatiyas ruled a large part of the Deccan between the 12th and 14th centuries. Their temples were places of worship, but also statements about who held power. The temple is generally dated to the 12th century and is traditionally linked to King Rudradeva, with 1163 commonly given as its construction date. Rudradeva did not build a private memorial. He built a public sacred space in Hanamkonda, then an important Kakatiya center. The name Thousand Pillar is memorable, but the monument is not important because someone counted exactly 1,000 supports. Its force comes from the density and order of the whole design. The site is also associated with Rudrashwara and a Shiva devotional world. That context is more useful than calling it an unexplained ancient wonder. The plan organizes the visitor through pillars, halls, shrines, and a central axis. Movement is part of the architecture, not an afterthought. Each pillar helps carry weight, divide space, frame a view, or mark a change in attention. Decoration and structure work together. The mandapa, or pillared hall, turns architecture into a shared experience. It gives people room to gather, hear ritual sound, and move as a community. The Nandi faces the sacred center. Its position creates an axis between sculpture, worshipper, and shrine, directing the body before any explanation is spoken. Carved figures and patterns fill the surfaces, but they are not random ornament. They place divine stories, guardians, and symbols inside the route through the temple. Close inspection also reveals the value of ordinary details, edges, joints, repeated forms, and worn surfaces record how the building was made and used. That precision required engineering. Stone had to bear weight, halls had to remain legible, and openings had to admit movement, light, and sound. Kakatiya architecture was not one fixed formula. It was a regional tradition shaped by local stone, workshops, patrons, ritual needs, and changing political ambitions. The temple therefore carries two kinds of order at once, sacred order in its images and root, and political order in the authority of the ruler who commissioned it. A medieval temple was also an institution. Priests, patrons, artisans, musicians, visitors, and local communities gave the building a life beyond its walls. Processions and festivals connected the shrine to public time. Worship made the monument active, rather than leaving it as a silent royal object. That continued use helps explain why the temple still matters. Heritage survives best when people attach practice and responsibility to it. But survival is never simple. Temples are repaired, altered, weathered, and sometimes damaged, so the building seen today contains more than one historical moment. Weather wears down carvings. Conflict and neglect can break or remove parts. Later repairs may protect the structure while also changing how its earlier layers appear. Archaeology works with those layers instead of pretending the monument is untouched. Fragments, foundations, inscriptions, and surviving sculpture help reconstruct its past. Written records matter too. Names, donations, repairs, and royal references can turn a beautiful surface into evidence about people and institutions. The evidence does not support every story later told about the temple. It supports a more grounded one, a Kakatiya sacred complex built with ambition and skill. Conservation is part of that history. The Archaeological Survey of India now maintains the monument, balancing structural safety, research, worship, and public access. Each decision affects what future visitors will be able to read in the stone. Restoration also forces a careful question: which layer should be protected, and how can repairs keep the surviving structure safe without pretending every stone is original? That tension is not a flaw in the story. It is evidence that the temple has remained important long enough for different generations to take responsibility for it. The temple also belongs to a wider Kakatiya landscape that included tanks, gateways, forts, and other shrines. These were connected expressions of regional power. Seen together, those sites show a dynasty building systems, not isolated spectacles. Water, defense, worship, and royal ceremony all depended on organized space. That wider setting changes how we read the pillars. They are not only beautiful objects, they belong to a network of labor, resources, belief, and administration. For a visitor, the building reveals itself slowly. A doorway frames a shrine, a row of pillars changes the line of sight, and a shadow makes a carving appear or disappear. A single photograph cannot capture that sequence. The temple is designed to be understood through movement, with scale changing as the body passes through it. Repetition gives the interior its rhythm. Similar forms create order, while small differences reward a closer look at the work of individual artisans. The temple's achievement is not that every surface is identical. It is that many separate decisions hold together as one controlled experience. The name Rudreshwara places the monument in a specific devotional setting at Hanamkonda. It is a historical clue, not just a dramatic title. The Nandi's alignment makes that clue visible. The sculpture turns attention toward the shrine and shows how a ritual meaning can be built into a floor plan. In the mandapa, architecture becomes social again. Sound travels, bodies gather, ceremonies pause, and carved stone becomes part of shared memory. The same building can therefore be read in several ways, as a shrine, an engineering project, a royal commission, an archive, and a living place of worship. Broken pieces and restored sections should remain visible in the story. They show that the monument's biography includes damage, care, argument, and repair. It is tempting to turn an old temple into a lost world mystery. That framing hides the evidence that makes the site genuinely remarkable. The real story needs no invented secret. A regional dynasty-made stone carry ritual, authority, technical knowledge, and memory across more than 8 centuries. That is why the temple feels larger than its surviving walls. It preserves a record of how people organized belief, labor, movement, and public identity. Its meaning also extends beyond the Kakatiyas. Every repair and every careful visit adds another chapter to the relationship between a monument and the people who inherit it. The 1,000-pillar temple is not valuable because it escaped time. It is valuable because time remains visible in its carvings, damage, alterations, and continued use. Seen clearly, the monument is both beautiful and legible. Its pillars reveal craft, its axis reveals ritual, its records reveal history, and its repairs reveal responsibility. The Kakatiyas built a place meant to outlast them. What survives today is not a frozen message, but a conversation between their stonework and the people still willing to care for it. When you stand among the pillars, the central question is simple: how did a 12th century temple turn power and devotion into a space that still teaches us how to look?